I get a lot of messages from people asking me for book recommendations, so I thought I'd do a video giving a list of books that I think are helpful. My first recommendation, though, is not actually a book, it's an essay. How to Make Our Ideas Clear by Charles Sanders Peirce. This essay discusses the advantages of pragmatism as an epistemology. A quote that I think makes the most important point in the essay is, "Consider the practical effects of the objects of your conception. Then, your conception of those effects is the whole of your conception of the object." In other words, the essence of an idea is what you can do with that idea. It's really pointless to consider an idea to be true or false unless that idea has some practical application. AnticitizenX made a great video further explaining pragmatism. I'll put a link to that in the description box. The next books are A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking and The Grand Design by Stephen Hawking and Leonard Mlodinow. These are great for their explanations of the epistemology of science. Lots of people have the wrong idea about what science is, and Hawking's books explain the epistemological approach that he takes. They are also a good introduction to cosmology, which creationists and apologists often misunderstand. Although if you want to come to a competent understanding of cosmology, I would recommend reading about it from several sources in order to get the most complete picture you can. I've found that no single explanation really does the job. Read as many different explanations as you can find. Another book on cosmology that I would recommend is The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. The next book is Consciousness Explained by Daniel Dennett. This book explains how it is that consciousness and qualia are processes rather than entities. It gives an outline of a model by which the brain undertakes the activity of awareness. Another great book is Free Will by Sam Harris. This wonderfully explains how there is not only no evidence of free will, it's not even clear what free will is even supposed to be. If our will is not determined by prior events, if it is at the beginning of a new causal chain, doesn't that mean that activities of the will are a matter of chance? And a book that everybody should read but surprisingly few people do is The Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. If you don't want to read the whole thing, just read the chapters in which Darwin rebuts criticisms of evolution. Many of the objections that creationists make today have already been addressed in the later editions of this book. Contemporary opponents of Darwinism often bring up irreducible complexity and gaps in the fossil record, but Darwin already dealt with both of those objections. I do have another channel that I just started where I talk about nothing but books. Not just non-fiction books, but also fiction books. So if you want to subscribe to that, I'll put a link to that in the description.